Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly reading. So this is for the week of May 29th through to the 4th of June. I've going to do it a little bit differently this week. I normally use tarot cards. I usually pick 3 cards for the week, but I've got some oracle decks instead this week. So I've got the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid, which is this one here, the Eternal Crystal Oracle cards, and the Indigo Angel Oracle cards. So I just wanted to do a little bit differently this week. I am going to talk about the astrology though, as I always do. So, you know, there is quite a lot going on with astrology. So I've made my notes here. I'm just going to go through them. So this week, starting with the earlier part of the week, Monday, Tuesday, we have a continuation of what we had last week, which is Mars in Gemini making a harsh opposition aspect to Saturn in Sagittarius. So both the signs Gemini and Sagittarius involved here are to do with communication, to do with publishing of information, to do with the media, to do with knowledge and information sharing, social media. Now, that said, Saturn is retrograde, and there's something here about, you know, well, in particular, I want to say, actually, the people that are going to be affected by this particular transit from last week and into Monday, Tuesday this week are the mutable signs, especially if you have anything towards the later end of Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, or Pisces. So if you're born later in those signs, you know, not right at the end, but kind of just before the end of those signs, you're going to be feeling that tension there this week as well. So you probably would have already felt it last week, and as I said, Monday, Tuesday, it's when the tension is really peaking now. So, you know, we can see this sort of playing out globally in terms of information with the media, you know, more people being aware that, you know, there's issues with the media with accurate reporting, which really has been an issue for many years now, but it's just becoming more into the public awareness, and it's sort of peaking around certain issues at the moment. And that's one way it can manifest. Another way it can manifest is, you know, for some people it could be to do with dealing with information, whether it's through your, you know, if you're doing a course or your education, or just general sharing of information online. So do be careful, you know, if you're prone to sort of, you know, posting a lot of stuff online that is personal, and you have something, you know, in your chart, say sun, moon, or rising sign at a later degree of, you know, those signs, I'll mention them again, Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, or Pisces. If you have anything later degree with those signs, just be very careful Monday, Tuesday, because there is this tension in the air still. Can be quite problematic when Saturn's involved and Mars is involved, both of them, you know, known as more of the malefic energies, harsher energies to deal with, okay? So moving on from that, Wednesday, Thursday, we have more of a positive aspect, which is good news. This involves Mercury. So Mercury in Taurus is going to make a trine aspect, which is a positive aspect, to Pluto in Capricorn. So this is quite powerful and empowering for some people if you have anything around 18, 19, or say actually 17, 18, 19 degrees of an earth sign. So earth signs being Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. You could find some benefit or some positive news this week, okay? So this could be to do with finances. It could be some kind of stabilizing effect, some kind of sudden abundance, some kind of good news. This is Wednesday and Thursday this week where this is, you know, a good energy. Now, for everyone else in general, it is a good time this week, Wednesday, Thursday, to communicate in an empowering way, in a positive way. So, you know, if you do have something to say that is a little bit contentious, putting it in a way that's positive is actually going to be way more effective than kind of kicking up a stink over it, so to speak. So, yeah, that's definitely the advice there. Thursday, Friday, we have interesting Venus in Aries, making a positive trine aspect to Saturn. So even though Venus is not so happy in the sign of Aries, it is making a trine aspect, which is a positive aspect to planet Saturn, which relates to reality. So Venus being, you know, about relationships and finances as well. And it's quite ambitious when Venus is in Aries. And with Saturn there, you know, it could be something to do with pushing forward about, you know, for something that you want to do, want to achieve, whether it's financial or relationship related. And there is a sense of reality about it, so that is positive. The weekend, the energy sort of starts to peak again in intensity. Venus in Aries will make a conjunction to Uranus in Aries. Uranus is a planet that is associated with a real lack of predictability and a really sort of sudden intense energy. So that can create a flare-up of energy, or kind of just something unexpected to do with a female, even because, you know, it is involving Venus, or something unexpected to do with finances as well for some. For some people, it could be something around kind of having reactions that are like an outburst of some kind. Again, it would be centered around a female, or if you are female and you have, say, Venus in Aries, or you have, you know, Sun in Aries, just be careful of emotional outbursts on the weekend. But you can, you know, you can feel, if you're a strong Aries type and a female, you can feel a very strong pent-up energy on the weekend, and you might feel quite agitated with that. So getting out and doing exercise or getting out to nature could be good for you, or doing something very physical or creative. Also on the weekend, we have the Sun in Gemini making a trine aspect to Jupiter in Libra, so that's really good. Very nice energy over the weekend as well for socializing. So, you know, if you're in a positive frame of mind and you feel good about, you know, going out and being around people, it's actually a very good energy. That said, it does make a square with Neptune still, so what I would throw in with that is, if you are socializing, just be careful of people who maybe, you know, seem really amazing at first, but, you know, are not all they're cracked up to be. But I think in general, it's actually a good time for socializing, as long as, you know, you've got your head on right and you're not doing anything crazy and you're listening to your intuition. It should be all good. But there is the weekend definitely brings like sort of a peak of energy, and, you know, there's a desire to socialize, to be free, to express yourself, to get out there and have fun. But, you know, with the, as I said, with the square of Neptune, just be careful of other people, but also be careful of your own overindulgence as well, because with Jupiter and Gemini, both of those, well, with Jupiter and Libra and Sun in Gemini, both of those energies like to have fun, but if you kind of push it too far, it could go overboard and it can be not so fun. So that's the advice with the astrology this week, is especially towards the weekend, just kind of temper your own energy and be aware of, you know, overdoing things. So I'm going to go to the Wisdom of the Oracle cards first. Whoops, this one's falling out, so I'm going to go with that one. And let's see, I'll go with the Chakra Eternal Crystal Oracle cards. Sorry, they've got chakra references in them, but they're the Eternal Crystal cards. Let's see what we get this week. This one's really popping itself out back here, so I'll go with that. And if you'd like a personal reading with me, you can follow the links below. The turnaround time at the moment is a little bit longer. It's probably from at least 7 to 12, 13 business days, depending on what you order. Except for urgent readings, they're always done a lot faster. That one's flipped itself over. I don't see what it was, but I'm just going to put it there. Okay, so let's see what we've got this week. Ooh, interesting. Why? Okay. Turquoise, throat chakra. Compassion. Oh, interesting that the colours really pick up here. We've got turquoise and turquoise. Very interesting. Okay, so just make sure this can be seen on camera. Okay. So the Y card. Okay, so it's 31. There's a number there, 31, which is about, well, 3 and 1 in numerology makes 4, which is about stability and security, but also working hard, you know, and also putting in efforts now for something, and not knowing necessarily, you know, what the outcome is. So, you know, with this Y, there is an aspect of trying to work out the higher reasons for an aspect of your current situation in life. And sometimes we can't always access all the answers, which is part of the challenge of being in the earth plane, is that it takes work to connect with your higher self, to connect with a higher energy. And so we can struggle in the physical realm because there's a forgetting of the higher aspect of our soul's contract and why we're actually here. And so with this message, I feel like there's a multitude of messages here, but I want to say for some people, it's about really struggling to understand where you're at and why you have to deal with the difficulties that you have to deal with, and it can be quite painful at times. We ask ourselves the question, why am I going through this? Or when repeated patterns happen, why am I going through this again? Why am I in, you know, this difficult situation that's either unsatisfying or just testing me constantly, and I just feel constantly challenged. So this is something that's being brought up this week, this question of why me, of why the situation, or why is this happening again, or why am I still confused about something. So the message here is reaching up to a higher level to raise your energy so that you can communicate with your guides, and not blocking off from that, because when we block off from that by just saying it's all too hard, I couldn't be bothered, and just go and distract myself with, you know, earthly distractions, we are avoiding finding the answer, which we can access the answer, but we need to have the patience to tap into that, and the desire to really connect to something higher. And it also takes a humility to do that. And so it may sound strange, but you know, the ego self can be like, well, I don't have time to access a higher, you know, awareness. I don't have time to know what, you know, I want to know the answer, but I don't want to be bothered looking into it. So there can be that type of thing, which is, you know, the false ego self, which tries to sabotage the self. So, you know, I'm back to the number here. 3 + 1 is 4. There's work involved here, and I want to say for some people the work that's involved is simply trying to learn how to connect more with your higher self, with your truth, with your intuition, so you can get feelings and signs about where you're headed, which will just help you feel a little bit more at peace and a little bit less resistant about where you are in life at this time in some particular aspect of life. The turquoise throat chakra card, it says balance, so that's interesting. And it also, it says throat and heart chakra, so that's very interesting, because with the throat chakra, we are learning to express ourselves, and sometimes that is to do with listening to our own inner voice and not shutting off from what our inner voice is telling us, but also expressing ourselves to other people and not sort of just putting up with situations that we don't need to, when we can actually express ourselves. And maybe it's only fear that is holding us back, because oftentimes when the throat chakra is mentioned, there can be blockages in that area energetically from past traumas where we felt we couldn't speak up, that type of thing. So if you've had something like that in your life, and you know, this could be a message to you about working on expressing yourself in the moment. And if you express yourself in a way that is balanced, because it says balance here, you know, people will be more open to you, to what you have to say, rather than if you come down really hard and you've kept your emotions in for so long, and then you come out like, you know, it's just volcanic and it's explosive. That's not going to be helpful, and it's going to shock other people and push them away. So it's going to be more beneficial to come at things, as I said before, I even pulled the cards in with a more positive attitude. It's interesting, the word compassion here. This is a very deep energy I feel with this last card. What I want to say is, for this card, be compassionate with yourself. We all have struggles in this human, you know, experience of life. It is not easy being on earth, but we chose to come here, and our souls chose to come and learn the lessons and have the experiences that we wanted to feel more fulfilled, more whole. But have compassion for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. And admit to yourself inside when you're struggling, and be okay with that. You know, life is not perfect. We're not always on a high or in a very happy place all the time. But it brings to mind also that saying, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's happiness is not a destination, but it's a way of living. So choose to be positive now with what you have, and be grateful for what you've got. But take time to connect with the divine, because that's where you can really feel a true compassion, when you connect with the divine energies, which is unconditional love. And you connect with that for yourself, so that you can feel re-nourished and recharged. And it's not saying be a perfect person, you know, you have to be unconditionally loving to everyone. No, that's not what the message is here. The message here is connect in your own personal way with your own spirituality, with your own connection to the divine, working on that to understand and have a bigger picture understanding about where you're at in life at this time. So pretty deep messages there, and that's all I wanted to say. So thank you so much everyone for watching, and I sincerely wish everybody a fantastic week ahead. Thanks so much. Bye.